Okay, video time on Saturday, number one. Alright, so we're kicking ass and taking names here on Tessie today. And it is ready for, it'll be first round epoxy on the left side jams. And then the tailgate is going to get one round of epoxy, black 2K surfacer on the face, and I'm gonna, if that turns out well, I'm gonna go ahead and jam the back side. And left rear door is was a touch-up, so I'm gonna do one light coat of epoxy on the edges and then black surfacer on it and re-jam the back side of it. So I'm gonna be spraying Eastwood black epoxy and then Eastwood 2K urethane primer sealer, and then Eastwood's hot rod satin black. So 3 products. It's I don't even know what time it is right now. It must be about oh, let's see, what time is it? It is about 25 after 3 right now. Everything is ready to go. Just basically touching up the jam. This was jammed once before, but I had an issue down here when I had the issue on the other side, so I'm just doing it from the weather strip line out into the edge of the flange, just to wrap it to a factory seam. And then this hinge needs to touch up, so I was pounding on that. So excuse me. So that'll get done. Body work on the tailgate feels pretty good. I did notice some pinholes in here. Once I was wiping it down. That's to be expected. This is not going to be final prime, or I'm not expecting it to be final prime. It will depend on how well those fill. That will also be a factor in my decision whether or not I'm going to jam this piece. We'll see how things go. Okay, so I found one spot up here that needed to be seam sealed. What this is actually a water gutter, or what you call a water management system. Any water that would get past this weather strip that lays right here would actually flow into here and flow out the ends. It's seam sealed simply so that water doesn't back up and back up into the inside of the car. It's not that big of a deal, but it needs to be seam sealed. One, it looks a hell of a lot nicer, and it is functional, so we're good there. Everything else is good. I did go ahead and seam seal the bottom edge just a little bit. That's just kind of something I like to do, because I will be rust proofing this when it's done, of course, and that just kind of keeps everything in there and doing its job, keeps it coated. The jams here, obviously this has all been sprayed with epoxy once before, but now I'm at the point where I did just some very quick, basically just buzzed it down with 80 and 180 to inspect where I'm at. Finish welded in this center piece today, and then finish welded the dog leg to the bottom of the rocker. So this basically is going to get epoxied so it can be body worked. Black epoxy is just a good gauge for me to see where I'm at, and I like to put epoxy primer anywhere that I've welded, just because it just helps me feel better about it, because it gets into pinholes, and it's a good ground, it's a good barrier against future corrosion, and you can go right over the top with body fillers. So okay, so that's there'll be some body work on this back half of the rocker, but the front half looks really good, so this will be a piece of cake. I mean, this will be another I would say another Saturday or another weekend, and this will be ready for paint. So alright, I'm going to mix paint and do a final little edge taping. I'm going to back tape this edge a little bit so I don't have a hard line, and mix paint and mix epoxy, I should say, and tack it, turn the fans up, turn the heat up, and rock and roll. I'll bring you back after I'm done. Thanks.